Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Verna Bharath. This is TTT News. It's time for the headlines. Government gets set to bring legislation for harsher penalties for gun offences to Parliament. Chamber commends government and opposition for coming together to pass Wealth Bill. And in sport, TNT's Campbell leads the way in prestigious Tour of Thailand cycle event. No bail for anyone found in possession of an illegal firearm for a period of 120 days. It's one of the proposed changes to legislation which National Security Minister Stuart Young says will be taken to Parliament in short time. At a press conference Tuesday morning, Minister Stuart Young said repeat offenders will also be made to face harsher penalties. Janine Brown reports.
Let the criminal element out there who have terrorized us for too long know when you're caught, no bail, increase in sentences. You want to be a repeat offender, it's going to be a bigger sentence, so you're going to spend longer in prison.
National Security Minister Stuart Young details government's plan to introduce 3 pieces of legislation, all aimed at tackling more harshly the issue of illegal firearms and, by extension, gun violence. According to the ministry's data, there's an estimated 9,000 illegal firearms in circulation in this country. The National Security Minister says the sentencing for possession of an illegal firearm must reflect the seriousness of the offence.
I have heard the most ridiculous, that persons who are pleaded guilty, they now plead guilty to carrying an illegal firearm, given a fine of $3,000. Pay the $3,000, they back out on the street, walk straight back, pick up an illegal firearm, go and commit a criminal.
He further explains the new legislation will feature a 3-tiered approach to sentencing. It means a second-time offender will be given a stricter fine and sentencing, with a third-time offender being served the full brunt of the law. As to how much the new fines will be, Minister Young says it's too early to say, as the note has to be taken to Cabinet for consideration. TTT News contacted Police Commissioner Gary Griffith on Tuesday, and according to the top cop, 208 illegal firearms have been seized for the year so far. The total amount seized for 2018 is 988. Considering the fact that firearms aren't produced in this country, the problem of illegal guns points back to the need for a more secure border. It's a concern Minister Young says government is also tackling.
There are a number of other operations that are intelligence-driven taking place on our borders right now. So when you're seeing persons being picked up and held along the shoreline, that is not happening by chance. I can't talk about the exact operations, but it is meeting with success.
Minister Young says he's hopeful the bill will win the support of the opposition once it's taken to Parliament. Janine Brown, TTT News.
The American Chamber of Commerce of Trinidad and Tobago, AmCham, has welcomed the passage of the Civil Asset Recovery and Management and Unexplained Wealth Bill 2019. The bill was passed in the House of Representatives on Monday, with all 34 members present voting in favor. AmCham CEO Nirad Tiwari commended the government and the opposition for coming together to pass what he described as a crucial piece of legislation to combat fraud.
It's the first time in I don't know how many years that we saw the government and opposition collaborate and work collaboratively to pass a piece of legislation that is important. It's not a little piece of legislation. The civil asset forfeiture legislation is very important as we seek to tackle drugs, guns, money laundering, all kinds of fraud.
The bill proposes the recovery of wealth accrued by criminal activity through the use of the remedies of restriction in dealings with civil assets, restriction and forfeiture of criminal property, management of criminal property, and unexplained wealth orders. Minister of Health Terence Diao says there is no shortage of insecticide to eliminate mosquitoes. The minister was responding to a question from UNC Senator Khadija Amin concerning CAFA's statement on a possible dengue outbreak.
I completely refute your argument that there were no chemicals. The country has never been short of chemicals, and that is shown in the figures I gave you. Why spread those rumors? And I clearly said 400 liters of alpha-side. Senator, I mean, that is clearly untrue. Why would you do that?
The minister once again called on citizens to play their part and ensure their surroundings are kept clean.
Global issue facing all public health. So it's a combination between the government and the citizen, and I cannot beg citizens enough. Empty your vases, don't have breeding sites in your homes with flower pots, all of these things, your barrels, your guttering.
Trinidad and Tobago still has some way to go in providing universal health care, although there have been improvements in the last few years. This from Pan American Health Organization representative Dr. Verna Bharath, who told TTT News healthcare in Trinidad and Tobago was not bad. Ian Wason has more.
Tuesday, Trinidad and Tobago joined the rest of the world in celebrating World Health Day with a solidarity chain. The theme for World Health Day this year is universal health coverage. The focus is on the standard of health care for all.
Everywhere around the world, WHO has been encouraging countries to form a chain of solidarity to show that we understand the need to promote universal health coverage.
Dr. Bharath added, there is a need for further improvement, although huge strides have been made in the recent past.
We have seen in the past 45 years an increase in life expectancy by 16 years. We've seen decreases in infant mortality, but we need to have efforts to sustain those gains, and we also need to promote even more gains because we still have a ways to go.
Having said that, Dr. Bharath had this to say on the local healthcare system.
We're not the best, but we're most definitely not the worst.
Ian Wason, TTT News.
Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi says if the non-profit organization's bill is not passed, it could trickle down to the financial sector being shut down. This if government doesn't meet with the Financial Action Task Force obligation. The legislation would require all non-profit entities to register every 3 years and be overseen by the Financial Intelligence Unit. As the bill was read for a second time in the Senate on Tuesday, the AG sought to clarify exactly what the bill addresses, saying it is not proposed to treat with charitable purpose.
This law very simply says, firstly, require people who are fitting within the definition of a non-profit organization, which can be either an incorporated or unincorporated type, require a definition to apply to whether you are a non-profit organization or not. Secondly, it says, if you are within the definition of a non-profit organization, register yourself in one location.
He also sought to put an end to what he termed a dangerous conversation taking place in the public domain.
That this law is a one-size-fits-all. No, sir. It is not a one-size-fits-all in the total sense of the law. The only size that fits all is to say register yourselves. The risk analysis and the aspects of audit are not one-size-fits-all.
And remember, you can also keep up to date with the latest stories on Facebook and Twitter at TTT Live Online. More to come. Stay with us.
First citizens, take a loan right now. For your car, house, for a vacation. For your own land, or for education. First citizens, easy does it.
A First Citizens Easy Does It loan makes it easy for you to do it all. A new vehicle, your own home, a vacation, education. Visit firstcitizenstt.com to find out more. Apply today.
Take a loan right now. First Citizens Easy does it. First Citizens Easy does it.
First Citizens, we put you first.
The entire local cycling fraternity has its collective gaze fixated on Thailand, where local star Campbell is threatening victory in the 3-stage Tour of Thailand event. It's history in the making, as the talented TNT rider is making a name for herself in the demanding 3-day event and enters the final stage with a great chance of winning it all on Wednesday. Currently training and preparing at the UCI Women's WCC team in Switzerland, The talented rider finished a creditable third to pick up 8 crucial UCI points for her efforts in covering the demanding 97-kilometer road race. But she went even better on day 2 and won the 67-kilometer stage in a time of 1 hour, 30 minutes and 19 seconds, leading the peloton home to muster another 16 crucial UCI points and sits in pole position to take the overall on Wednesday. All told, Tennille now has 52 UCI points and continues to inch closer and closer to Olympic qualification. To track and field, where Kamaria Durant completed the sprint double when she won the women's 200 at last weekend's Southern Games track competition held at the Mani Ramjan Stadium. Meanwhile, in the men, Dion Lendo took top spot. Kent Fuentes has more.
The under-15 girls took to the track first in the half-lap event, and it was Khadija Pickering of Abilene Wildcats getting to the line first in 25.33 seconds. In the boys under 15, Keon John of Memphis Pioneers took top spot in 22.97 seconds. The girls under 17 won the track next. Cougar Shaquina Bascomb, a member of the 2019 Carifta team, was the winner in 24.20 seconds. Completing a sweep for Cougars in the under-17 division was Tyreek Mehas in a time of 23.04 seconds. Winning the boys on the 2200 meters was Marcus Purcell of Memphis Pioneers in a time of 21.80 seconds. Kamaria Durant then took to the track in the women's race, and the Simplex athlete added a 200 to a 100 title. The winning time was 23.49 seconds. And Abilene's Dion Lendo warmed up for the outdoor season with a 20.85 seconds clocking to win the men's 200 title. Kent Fuentes, TTT Sports.
Another key moment in the development of some of this country's budding track and field superstars as the 31st edition of the popular Rotary Club of Port of Spain District Games are set. Ruskin Mark has more from the launch, which has a new but familiar sponsor on board.
You're going to have over 800 students from 80 primary schools participating. And as the final track and field meet within the district, these games will also include both athletes with special needs as well as differently abled athletes. And I really think that this is something that should be applauded.
Nestle again taking the lead for the event on April 25th at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, where this country's primary school stars will compete. But it's the role these games play that came into focus for so many of the speakers, including coordinator Kelvin Nanko.
And every year, I stand before you here very proud to know that many of our national athletes have passed through these games. The Commonwealth Gold Sprint Champion, Michelle Liahi, came through these games. J.U. Gordon came through these games. And the list is very long.
And as far as the Ministry of Education is concerned, sport has a crucial role to play in the development of the lives of these participating students.
It helps to develop the all-round child, the ideal person we would want to see, the person you would want to have working in your organizations, businesses, etc. You would want a person with team spirit. You would want a person with resilience. And you would want a person that is able to keep trying even when it doesn't seem as if they are succeeding.
Even TTT President Brian Lewis has been impressed with the games and the stick-to-itiveness of the Rotary Club, drawing inspiration from their long and dedicated service to society as a whole. Ruskin Mark, TTT Sport.
World 100 meters silver medalist Christian Coleman will go for a sprint double at July's U.S. Championships, setting the stage for a run at gold in both at Doha's World Championships and the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, his manager told Reuters. Considered by many to be the heir apparent to Usain Bolt, the lightning-quick American will have strong competition in both events. World champion Justin Gatlin and indoor bronze medalist Ronnie Baker will likely be Coleman's opponents in the 100-meter and Diamond League winner Noah Lyles in the 200 meters and possibly in the 100 as well. Coleman, the 2017 U.S. double sprint champion, is planning to compete in both events on the Diamond League circuit before chasing the double at the U.S. trials. More to come. Stay with us.
KFC's Family 9 Bucket is for every family. Like this family. Or this one. No matter what yours is like, you'll enjoy 9 pieces of delicious chicken and 4 regular sides for only $115. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
The weather is brought to you in part by the Water and Sewerage Authority. Water, use what you need.
It's April. It marks the beginning of the dust season, as you can call it that. That's the time in between April and August where we tend to get a lot of the Saharan dust coming across the Atlantic into the Caribbean. Right now, we're looking still at that dust cloud, which is still making its way west towards the island chain. It may possibly near us by the weekend. So obviously by then, definitely watching for the skies to turn quite hazy. But before then, lots of sunshine around for Tobago. Not much chance of a shower. There's a low chance of us seeing a light shower as you go through the day. Similarly for Trinidad overnight, mostly clear and fine towards Wednesday morning as well. Only Arima, Piarco, Sandy Grande, the usual areas that we could see a few showers passing by first thing in the morning, but during the afternoon a lot of sunshine is expected. So if you are going to be out and about, drink lots of water and obviously wear a hat if you're going to be out there under the prolonged sunshine. Temperature-wise, looking at a low of 22 degrees Celsius, quite cool tonight in Trinidad, 24 in Tobago, slightly milder along the coastlines there, highs of 31 in Tobago, 32 likely in Trinidad tomorrow. For the rest of the working week, it seems as though mostly fair skies are expected. Just a brief shower, possibly no longer than half an hour. And then once we get into late Friday going to Saturday, possibility of a few more showers passing through. Now heading offshore, those fresh easterly winds persist at 15 knots. Could be bringing a few whitecaps further offshore, but the waves still remain moderate at 2 meters out in the Atlantic, closer to 1.5 through the Caribbean, and east-northeasterly swells of 8 seconds. Now, most of the activity across the Caribbean will actually be towards the western half, especially around Cuba. This cold front is set to slip south, likely to bring a lot more showers and the possibility of some of them turning thundery across Havana first thing in the morning for Wednesday. For the rest of the Greater Antilles, it's mostly settled. Santo Domingo and Kingston, highs of 30 degrees Celsius. Similarly, clear skies expected for the Eastern Caribbean through the Windward and Leeward Islands. Not much is set to change. High pressure is firmly in charge here and even down towards Georgetown. Just patches of cloud are expected. There's a lower chance of showers around Georgetown. You'll pick up most of the activity the further south you head into Guyana. But for us, sunny and breezy with just a stray shower around. So that's your weather, and that's it from me.
The weather was brought to you in part by the Water and Sewerage Authority. Water, use what you need.
The government is in the process of finalizing the implementation of the water pollution rules in Trinidad and Tobago. According to the American Chamber of Commerce of Trinidad and Tobago, these rules will impact many businesses, especially those that emit any kind of liquid waste. At a consultation on the revised water pollution rules hosted by the Chamber, CEO Nirad Tiwari said the polluter pays principle outlined in the rules is a plus.
Those who are polluting more will pay more, and those who are polluting less or not at all will therefore not be as affected or affected at all. because they have either mitigated or reduced or completely eliminated their impact on the environment.
The primary goal of the water pollution rules is to get industries to reduce the levels of water pollutants in their effluent point source discharges and to improve quality of inland and coastal water resources. The water pollution rules was last updated 12 years ago.
We have a fixed application fee between $2,500 and $5,000. And we also have a fixed annual fee between $10,000 and $15,000. What we are proposing in this revision is a tiered application fee based on discharge volume.
The bridge link between the Red House and its companion building, Cabildo Chambers, will not impede vehicular traffic along St. Vincent Street. This from the Urban Development Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago, UDCOT, in response to claims that the walkover is too low and that it would cause structural damage to the Red House. The link, which is being constructed to aid in the efficient daily operations of parliamentary and ancillary staff, was announced in December 2017 by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley during a tour of the Red House. UDCOT says all the necessary approvals were acquired from Town and Country Planning, City Engineers Department of the Port of Spain City Corporation Building Permit, and Ministry of Works Structural Design. Here are the details of the day's market activity on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange.
Trading on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange produced a volume of 246,622 shares with a traded value of $1,987,584.78. JMMB Group Limited was the volume leader with 165,220 shares changing hands. Investors bought and sold the stocks of 13 securities, with 4 advancing, 5 declining, and 4 ending the day unchanged. The composite, the All TNT, and the cross-listed indices advanced.
More to come. Stay with us.
Sweet 100.1 FM and Fiesta Plaza present Wednesday Love. Love at the Plaza, Wednesday, April 10th, 6 to 8 p.m. If you enjoy our Wednesday Love on Sweet 100, you will enjoy an evening with us and our cast of stars at Movie Town. Sweet 100 is bringing love to the Plaza on April 10th. This is your Wednesday Love.
Minister of National Security Stuart Young says drugs continue to be detrimental to Trinidad and Tobago's society at many different levels. At a national workshop for the strengthening of gender equality in counter-drug law enforcement agencies, it was highlighted that a number of gang elements are being driven by the sale and use of illegal narcotics.
We at the government level do not for a moment underestimate the effects of drugs on our society. We for a moment do not say that it is not something that we have to prioritize. In our prison system, it continues to be, and I say it here openly, continues to be a problem. But even in our prison system, we've been tightening up. So on a daily, weekly basis, I continue to get the reports about the successes we meet as we shut down our prison system. And
Meanwhile, the Canadian High Commissioner Carla Hogan-Ruffield said over the years, women have increased their participation in drug cartels. She said it is therefore imperative to create policies to address this issue.
To look at the institutions we support ensures that our work is holistic, effective, and sustainable, ultimately giving all individuals the same access to opportunities.
6-time Panorama champions in the medium category, Pan Elders have announced a new arranger for 2020, with the prolific Duvon Stewart stepping aside after 7 very productive years, during which time he won 6 titles in a row with the South Band. Pan Elders are starting a new chapter. They have signed Kendall Williams to replace the departed Stewart, hoping to continue their winning ways. Williams, who lives in the United States and last year won the New York Panorama title during Labor Day celebrations, is no stranger to TNT, as he is part of the trio who arranges for Cal Skiffle in the large conventional category. Many have hailed the choice and believe he can keep the youthful band in the upper echelons of the medium category. Carrying the traditions of carnival arts beyond the carnival season. That was just one of the topics discussed at the University of the West Indies Department of Creative and Festival Arts, DCFA, Mass Colloquium. The event themed Traditional Masquerade, Contemporary Time and Space focused on mass as a unique Caribbean creative practice that communicates and explores critical aspects of the Caribbean's socio-cultural landscape. Head of DCFA, Louis McWilliams, thanked the practitioners from the various creative industries for actively exploring the boundaries of mass as an art form.
How traditional mass could be used even in terms now as a training tool for actors, where we begin to really dig deep into the traditional forms, traditional carnival forms, traditional masquerade forms, and look at the things they present for us to work with in our theatre arts curriculum, in our dance curriculum, visual arts, and all the work that we do.
Actor Curtis Grew, through the character of a midnight robber, shared some history behind the character.
The origin, as they say, started not in black, tattered flower bags, out of the cemetery. If you listen to the early speeches, I grind dead men's bones to make my tea and I eat the rotten flesh of cadavers. The midnight robber emerged from the cemetery because the cemetery was seen as the gate of hell.
Camping is a hallmark of every Girl Guides experience, and this year hundreds of girls from across Trinidad transformed the Marabella North Secondary School to a camp survival ground. Marilyn Crickshand of 2nd San Fernando Senior Guides said the camp teaches them some valuable life lessons.
Yes, I believe it was. We had our natural disaster and most people weren't prepared, and to me it was very frightening because you were at home and some people did not know what to do. But now at Guides we are learning, so next time, God forbid there is a next time, we will know what to do and we'll be ready as guides because our motto is be prepared.
Another Girl Guide, Takaya Craig, said they were taught the importance of being independent.
We can't always depend on our parents for everything. In case of natural disasters, we learn how to help instead of panicking. In case of like earthquakes, floods, instead of panicking, we learn how to treat the situation different. We learn how to ration our food and not waste it, and how to wash without a sink because that's really hard for me. Yeah.
Training and Education Service Provider at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, Leslie Ann Blackburn, said the girls were taught how to be resilient. Here's a recap of tonight's top stories. Government gets set to bring legislation for harsher penalties for gun offences to Parliament. Chamber commends government and opposition for coming together to pass Wealth Bill. And in sport, TNT's Campbell leads the way in prestigious Tour of Thailand cycle event. That's a wrap on this evening's TTT News.
Sweet 100.1 FM and Fiesta Plaza present Wednesday Love. Love at the Plaza, Wednesday, April 10th, 6 to 8 p.m. If you enjoy our Wednesday Love on Sweet 100, you will enjoy an evening with us and our cast of stars at Movie Town. Sweet 100 is bringing love to the Plaza on April 10th. This is your Wednesday Love.